Glad you liked it. Do you want any refinements or a longer version? Let me know how I can make it even better. Passion is the foundation of every great achievement. It's the force that pushes people to wake up before the sun rises, to work late into the night, to persist when everything seems to be falling apart. Without passion, even the most talented individuals eventually burn out, give up, or settle for less. The reason is simple. Success isn't easy. The road to anything worthwhile is paved with obstacles, doubt, rejection, failure, and uncertainty. It's passion that keeps you going when logic says to quit. It's passion that makes the struggle worth it. Look around at those who have changed the world. They weren't the ones chasing money or status. They were the ones obsessed with a vision, consumed by an idea, willing to sacrifice everything to bring it to life. They didn't see work as an obligation, they saw it as a mission. Passion isn't just about excitement. Excitement fades. Passion is deeper. It's the thing you can't stop thinking about, the thing you do even if you weren't getting paid for it. It's what keeps you up at night, sketching ideas on napkins, rehearsing in front of a mirror, researching endlessly, perfecting every detail. But passion alone isn't enough. It needs discipline, it needs resilience, because even when you love something, there will be hard days. Days when nothing works, when progress is invisible, when you question if it's all worth it. Passion doesn't mean every moment is thrilling. It means you push through the boring parts, the failures, the moments of doubt, because deep down you know this is what you're meant to do. And passion isn't found, it's built. It's not a lightning bolt moment. It grows through curiosity, through doing, through pushing past the initial struggle. The more you invest in something, the deeper your passion for it becomes. Those who succeed at the highest level aren't the ones who chase the easiest path. They're the ones who chase the most meaningful one. Because when you truly love what you do, success stops being about winning or losing. It becomes about the journey itself. And that's where real greatness is born. Life never unfolds in a straight line. No matter how much you plan, how much you try to predict the future, the reality is this: you won't see how things fit together until you look back. Every experience, every choice, every failure, at the time they may seem random, disconnected, even pointless, but years later you'll realize that each of those moments played a role in shaping your journey. The skills you picked up from a job you hated, the people you met in places you never intended to be, the risks you took that led to unexpected opportunities. Nothing is wasted, but you can only connect the dots looking backward. This is why trusting the process is so important. So many people get paralyzed by fear because they want guarantees. They want to know exactly where their choices will lead before they take the first step. But that's not how life works. If you wait until everything is clear, you'll never move. The people who accomplish great things are the ones who step into the unknown, who follow their curiosity, who take chances without knowing exactly where they'll end up. Think about the things that changed your life. Were they perfectly planned, or did they happen because of a series of unexpected events, coincidences, or even mistakes? You meet someone who introduces you to an idea that sparks something in you. You take a job that seems unrelated to your dream, only to discover a skill that changes your path. You fail at something you thought you wanted, only to realize it wasn't right for you in the first place. The dots only connect when you look back. But here's the challenge. While you're in the middle of it, things won't always make sense. There will be moments of doubt, moments of frustration, moments where you question if you're wasting your time. That's when you have to trust. Trust that what you're doing matters. Trust that even your struggles are shaping you. Trust that one day you'll look back and understand why things happened the way they did. The truth is, you can't control everything. You can't predict every twist and turn, but what you can do is stay open, stay curious, and keep moving forward. Follow the things that excite you, chase the ideas that won't leave your mind, pursue opportunities that make you come alive, even if they don't seem to fit into a logical plan, because one day when you look back, you'll see the pattern. You'll understand why you had to go through the struggles, why certain doors had to close, why the failures weren't really failures at all, but necessary steps towards something greater, and in that moment you'll realize it was never random. The dots were always there, you just had to keep going long enough to connect them. The moment you think you've made it, the moment you stop learning, stop questioning, stop pushing the boundaries, that's the moment you start to decline. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who settle, they are the ones who remain restless, always searching, always improving, always chasing the next challenge. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Hunger is more than ambition. It's more than wanting success or recognition. Hunger is that relentless drive, that refusal to accept limits. that deep-seated need to keep growing. It's waking up every morning and asking, what's next? How can I do more? How can I be better? But hunger alone isn't enough. You also have to be willing to take risks, to challenge conventional wisdom, to step into the unknown. That's where foolishness comes in. Not foolishness in the sense of recklessness, but foolishness in the sense of daring to dream when others doubt, daring to try when others hesitate. The world is filled with people who play it safe, who do what they're told, who follow the established path. And yet every major breakthrough, every revolutionary idea, every world-changing innovation has come from someone who was willing to think differently, someone who was willing to look foolish in the eyes of others. The greatest minds in history, scientists, inventors, artists, entrepreneurs, they were all told at some point that their ideas were ridiculous, that their dreams were impossible, they were laughed at, doubted, dismissed. But they kept going, not because they had guarantees, but because they had vision, because they saw something others couldn't see, because they stayed foolish enough to believe in a future that didn't exist yet. Hunger keeps you moving forward. Foolishness keeps you thinking beyond the limits of what's possible. Together they create momentum, creativity, and resilience. But the challenge is that, over time, success itself can become the enemy. The more you achieve, the easier it is to become comfortable, to settle into what you know, to stop taking risks. The world rewards predictability, efficiency, and stability, but the moment you become satisfied with where you are is the moment you stop growing. So the real test isn't just in reaching success, it's in staying hungry even after you've tasted it. It's in keeping that same curiosity, that same fire, that same willingness to question everything, even when the world tells you that you've already won. And here's the truth. The ones who change the world never stop learning. They never stop questioning. They never stop reinventing themselves. They remain students, explorers, risk-takers, even when they're at the top. So don't be afraid to chase the impossible. Don't be afraid to look foolish. Don't be afraid to take the path that others avoid, the one filled with uncertainty, the one that forces you to grow, because that's where the magic happens. That's where real breakthroughs are born. Stay hungry, stay foolish, and never stop pushing forward. The world is overflowing with ideas, opportunities, and distractions. Everywhere you look, there's something demanding your attention. A new project, a new trend, a new obligation. It's easy to think that success comes from saying yes to everything, from trying to do it all. But the truth is, real innovation comes from saying no. Simplicity is power. The most groundbreaking ideas, the most revolutionary products, the most impactful work, they aren't born from doing more, but from doing less, from stripping away the unnecessary, from cutting through the noise, from focusing so intensely on one thing that it becomes extraordinary. Saying no is hard. It feels like you're closing doors, turning down opportunities, limiting your options, but in reality, every yes is a no to something else. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't truly matter, you are saying no to the thing that does. The people who build great things aren't the ones who try to chase everything. They're the ones who have the discipline to focus. Think about the greatest inventions, the most timeless designs, the most successful companies. They aren't built on complexity, they are built on clarity, precision, simplicity. The best products don't try to be everything for everyone, they do one thing exceptionally well. The best teams aren't the ones with the most features, the most ideas, the most moving parts. They are the ones that focus on what truly matters and cut out everything else. But simplicity doesn't happen by accident. It requires relentless discipline. It requires the courage to say no to good ideas so you can focus on great ones. It requires pushing back against distractions, against expectations, against the pressure to do more when doing less is actually the right choice. Most people are afraid to say no. They worry about missing out, about closing doors, about disappointing others, but the people who create real change, the innovators, the disruptors, the visionaries, they understand that saying no isn't about rejecting opportunities. It's about making space for the right ones. Look at your work, your goals, your ambitions. What are the distractions? What are the things you're holding onto that aren't truly adding value? What would happen if you let go of the things that don't move you forward? Because greatness isn't about how much you do, it's about how well you do it. And the only way to do something truly great is to clear away everything that gets in the way. There is one undeniable truth in life, one that we often push to the back of our minds, one that society teaches us to avoid thinking about. We are all going to die. No one escapes it. No amount of money, success, or power can change it. The clock is always ticking, whether we acknowledge it or not. But instead of fearing it, instead of pretending it doesn't exist, what if we used it? What if, instead of running from the idea of death, we embraced it as the most powerful motivator we have? Most people live as if they have all the time in the world. They put off their dreams, they settle for mediocrity. They tell themselves, someday I'll take that risk. Someday I'll follow my passion. Someday I'll live the life I truly want. But someday is not guaranteed. The only time you have is now. Knowing that your time is limited gives you clarity. It forces you to ask the hard questions. If I were to die tomorrow, would I be satisfied with how? Am I spending my time on things that actually matter? Am I doing what I love, or am I just going through the motions? Death strips away the illusion that we have endless chances. It reminds us that we don't get to hit pause, that every moment wasted is a moment we'll never get back. And that realization is fuel. It's the push to stop hesitating, to stop playing it safe, to stop letting fear dictate your choices. When you truly internalize the fact that life is short, fear loses its grip. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of what other people will think, none of that matters when you realize that in the end we all leave this world the same way. No one remembers the person who played it safe. No one is inspired by the person who spent their life avoiding risks, doing what was expected, never daring to chase something greater. Think about the people who changed the world. They weren't the ones who waited for the perfect moment. They were the ones who understood that time is finite and acted with urgency. They didn't let the fear of failure stop them because they knew that the bigger failure is never trying at all. Most of us live as if we're going to be here forever. We waste time on things that don't fulfill us. We hold grudges, chase status, get caught up in trivial things that won't matter in the end. But when you strip all of that away, the truth is simple. We are here for a short time. Make it count. The question isn't whether you will die. The question is, before that day comes, will you have truly lived? The world doesn't need more copies. It doesn't need more people following the same formulas, playing it safe, or doing what has already been done. It needs originals. It needs creators. It needs people who are willing to think differently, to take risks, to push boundaries. It's easy to follow the path that someone else has paved. It feels safe, it feels proven. But the truth is, no one ever changed the world by following a blueprint someone else created. Every breakthrough, every revolution, every game-changing idea came from someone who refused to simply imitate. They chose to create. But creation is hard. It requires stepping into the unknown. It requires being misunderstood. It requires resisting the temptation to take the easy road, to do what's popular, to chase trends instead of building something that lasts. The world rewards imitation in the short term. If you copy what works, you might find temporary success. You might fit in. You might get applause, but you will never stand out. You will never build something truly meaningful, because the only way to create something legendary is to take the risk of doing something different. Most people don't take that risk. They look at what's already successful and think, I'll do that too. They chase what's trending, what's proven, what feels safe. But innovation isn't born from repetition, it's born from originality, from questioning what exists and daring to build something better. Look around. Every industry, every art form, every field is filled with people copying each other, following trends, repeating what has already been done. And then there are the few, the ones who ignore the noise, who trust their vision, who create something so bold, so different that the world has no choice but to pay attention. These are the people who change things. But the path of a creator isn't easy. When you create instead of copy, you open yourself to criticism. You risk failure. You risk rejection. People will tell you that you're wrong, that your ideas won't work, that you should follow the safe path instead. Ignore them, because every great idea, every revolutionary product, every groundbreaking piece of art was once seen as crazy. Every visionary was once dismissed as foolish, but they kept going, not because they had guarantees, but because they had belief. And that's the difference. Creators don't wait for permission. They don't wait for approval. They don't follow the map. They draw their own. So ask yourself, are you following or are you creating? Are you imitating or are you innovating? Are you doing what's been done before or are you building something only you can build? Because the world will always have enough copies. What it needs is something only you can create.